Our top focus will be on at this hour. The political drama continues over the Wagner crisis. US and its allies are now taking on Putin's authority in the aftermath of the mutiny that erupted last week. US Secretary of State said that Wagner's short-lived uprising marked a direct challenge to Putin's authority. Blinken flagged real cracks in the Russian state authority. French President Emmanuel Macron said that the march on Moscow shows divisions within the Russian camp and also of the differences in its military and its auxiliary forces. Beijing has maintained close ties with Moscow since the Ukraine operation was launched. Foreign Minister Xi Yang met Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister in Beijing. The Chinese Foreign Minister called the mercenary revolt as Russia's internal affairs and expressed support for Putin's government. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Joe Biden discussed the revolt ahead of a NATO summit in Lithuania next month. Zelensky said, and I'm quoting here, "The world must put pressure on Russia until international order is restored." Kiev, however, said that the unrest offered a window of opportunity for its counteroffensive. Meanwhile, quoting UK security sources, the British media reported that the Russian intelligence services threatened to harm families of the Wagner leaders. Wagner had only 8,000 fighters rather than the 25,000 claimed, and it faced a likely defeat in any attempt to take the Russian capital. Reports further suggest that Putin will now try to assimilate Wagner soldiers into the Russian military. The two big questions that remain unanswered here is, was any formal deal struck? And will the Russian defense minister be demoted or sacked as demanded by Prigozhin? Now, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has reacted to what is happening in Moscow. Blinken says that the short-lived rebellion from the Wagner mercenaries reveals real cracks in Putin's authority and also poses a direct challenge to Putin's leadership. For more on this, we were earlier joined by Edward P. Joseph, a senior fellow and lecturer at Johns Hopkins University and a foreign policy analyst from California. Listen in to what he had to say on this.
Good to be with you. And it's a very good question. It's not clear entirely whether it could have been avoided. It appears that from Prigozhin's statements that he was trying to preempt some kind of an attempt to rein him in from Russian military. So this is Prigozhin's basis, his claim for for launching this, what is effectively a mutiny. Of course, the rapid turnaround here does raise questions, but the fact that your piece mentioned the reaction from Secretary of State Blinken, and the fact, here's really the takeaway here, that how Russia looks so weak and how Putin looks so weak here. The fact that you have this open challenge to Putin's authority, and here's what's also so important, is Prigozhin's claim that the entire war was based on false premises. This is what takes this out of, it makes it more difficult that this was some kind of elaborate charade between Putin and Prigozhin to move him into Belarus. There is serious weakness, exposure of Russian weakness, exposure of Putin's weakness from these developments, even if there is some bizarre relationship here, but the fact that Prigozhin claimed that the entire premises for the war was false, in other words, that there was no threat from Ukraine to Russia or Russian interests, he stated that very clearly. He claimed that this was a war based on the ambitions from Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister, who's very close to Vladimir Putin. So, and plus we saw those developments on the ground where there appeared to be even some defections to Wagner. So this is exposing Russian weakness, Russian chaos, and the apparent weakness of Vladimir Putin himself. Please.